5,
4,
3,
2,
1।
हैप्पी नेशनल स्पेस डे। आज की तारीख 23 अगस्त 2024 विशेष है।
आज भारत अपना पहला राष्ट्रीय अंतरिक्ष दिवस मना रहा है।
आज ही के दिन सन 2023 में यानी ठीक एक साल पहले भारत का चंद्रयान 3 सफलतापूर्वक चांद की सतह पर पहुंचा था। आप सभी को बधाई और अभिनंदन। कार्यक्रम डीडी मॉर्निंग शो में मैं हूं अमित
और मैं हूं भावना। और आज के अवसर पर खास तौर से हम धन्यवाद करते हैं इसरो का। इसरो यानी इंडियन स्पेस रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन।
और भावना, जब भी इसरो कोई रॉकेट लॉन्च करता है और अंतरिक्ष में सैटेलाइट भेजता है तो प्रत्येक भारतवासी को बहुत गर्व महसूस होता है।
बिल्कुल, देश का गौरव बढ़ता है।
देश का गौरव बढ़ता है।
और जहां तक इतिहास की बात है तो इसरो की स्थापना साल 1969 में हुई थी और दशक दर दशक ये संस्था निरंतर प्रगति कर रही है।
तो आज इसी प्रगति की झलक कार्यक्रम डीडी मॉर्निंग शो में देखेंगे। प्रस्तुत है आज का सुविचार।
Quote by former President of India and space scientist Dr APJ अब्दुल कलाम।
भावना, चंद्रयान 3 जब मून पे लैंड किया था तो जो लैंडिंग पॉइंट है उसे क्या कहते हैं?
शिव शक्ति पॉइंट।
करेक्ट। और चंद्रयान 2 जिसने अपने जो पद चिन्ह छोड़े उस स्पॉट को कहते हैं तिरंगा पॉइंट।
अच्छा, मुझे ये बताइए, विक्रम लैंडर का नाम किसके नाम पर रखा गया था?
डॉक्टर विक्रम साराभाई। डॉक्टर विक्रम साराभाई को भारत के अंतरिक्ष कार्यक्रम का जनक भी कहा जाता है। और देखिए, आपने इतिहास की बात की थी, वो तस्वीर सहज रूप से सामने आती है जब रॉकेट को साइकिल पर लेकर जाया जाता था।
बिल्कुल, और तब से लेकर अब तक हम स्पेस में निरंतर उपलब्धियां हासिल करते जा रहे हैं।
तो आइए इन्हीं उपलब्धियों को बेहतर जानते हैं, रॉकेट पे सवार करते हैं और चलते हैं स्पेस के सफर में।
तो चलिए।
23 अगस्त 2023 पूरा देश इस दिन खुशी से झूम रहा था। इसरो के वैज्ञानिकों की कड़ी मेहनत रंग लाई थी। ये दिन बेहद खास था। इसी दिन भारत के चंद्रयान 3 ने चांद की सतह पर विक्रम लैंडर की सुरक्षित और सॉफ्ट लैंडिंग कराई थी तथा प्रज्ञान रोवर को दक्षिणी ध्रुव के निकट चंद्र सतह पर तैनात किया गया था। इसरो की इस ऐतिहासिक उपलब्धि का सम्मान करने के लिए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने 23 अगस्त को नेशनल स्पेस डे यानी राष्ट्रीय अंतरिक्ष दिवस के रूप में घोषित किया है।
23 अगस्त को जब भारत ने चंद्रमा पर तिरंगा फहराया, उस दिन को अब हिंदुस्तान नेशनल स्पेस डे के रूप में मनाया जाएगा।
आज 23 अगस्त 2024 को भारत अपना पहला राष्ट्रीय अंतरिक्ष दिवस मना रहा है, जिसका लक्ष्य युवा पीढ़ी को अंतरिक्ष विज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी के क्षेत्र में शामिल करना और प्रेरित करना है। इस वर्ष की थीम है टचिंग लाइव्स व्हाइल टचिंग द मून, इंडियाज स्पेस सागा। इसरो ने अंतरिक्ष की एक लंबी और गौरवशाली यात्रा तय की है। आज से करीब 61 साल पहले यानी वर्ष 1962 में भारत सरकार द्वारा विख्यात वैज्ञानिक विक्रम साराभाई के नेतृत्व में इंडियन नेशनल कमेटी फॉर स्पेस रिसर्च यानी भारतीय राष्ट्रीय अंतरिक्ष अनुसंधान समिति का गठन किया गया था, जिसे अब इंडियन स्पेस रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन यानी इसरो कहा जाता है। चंद्रमा, मंगल और सूर्य पर सफल अनुसंधान के साथ ही इसरो ने विभिन्न देशों के लगभग 424 उपग्रह प्रक्षेपित कर महत्वपूर्ण उपलब्धि हासिल की है। भविष्य के लिए भी इसरो की कई योजनाएं हैं। इसरो मानव अंतरिक्ष मिशन गगनयान के माध्यम से मानव को अंतरिक्ष में भेजने की तैयारी कर रहा है। साथ ही साल 2030 तक भारत का अंतरिक्ष स्टेशन स्थापित करने की योजना है। विश्व भर में भारत इन उपलब्धियों के साथ अपना परचम लहरा रहा है। अंतरिक्ष विज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी के क्षेत्र में जिस तरह भारत निरंतर आगे बढ़ रहा है, संभव है कि आने वाले समय में भारत इसरो और नई पीढ़ी के साथ नित्य नए कीर्तिमान स्थापित कर विश्व के लिए एक सशक्त उदाहरण साबित होगा।
रॉकेट पर सवार होकर ऐसा लग रहा है मानो हम सच में अंतरिक्ष में पहुंच गए हों।
It's 23rd of August 2024 as Bharat celebrates the inaugural National Space Day. To help us unravel the mysteries of space, joining us here in the Doordarshan Studios Space Shuttle is Dr BHM Darkesha. Namaskar, good morning.
Namaste Amit ji, namaste Bhavna.
Dr Darkesha is a scientist with the Indian Space Research Organization. First and foremost, greetings of National Space Day.
Thank you, I wish you the same.
Thank you very much. So, Dr Darkesha, will it be correct to say that space is a natural resource and it belongs to each one of us?
Yes, definitely it's a natural resource. By putting satellites there, we can improve the quality of life on the ground.
Okay.
See, communication satellites, they give us the internet connectivity, telephone connectivity, wherever our mobile towers networks may not work. Then they give the pictures of the clouds, the moving storms. The satellite image pictures, they help us in assessing the crop yield, its growth, agar akal aa gaye, to disaster warning, all these things are possible. Town planning, disaster management, then natural resource survey, all this is possible.
GPS?
Then yes, navigation,
Yes.
इधर से मुड़ो 200 मीटर के बाद उधर मुड़ो, ये सब सैटेलाइट से आता है. Then विश्व के बारे में जानने के लिए सैटेलाइट हमें बेहद अनन्य वैदिक स्टेज बनाता है. और उसके आगे स्पेस रिसर्च जो है उसका उपलब्धि यानी बाई प्रोडक्ट्स, डिजिटल कैमरा है, एलईडी लाइट्स है, वायरलेस चार्जिंग, आर्टिफिशियल लिम्स, ये सब उसी से आता है. By considering all this, space is definitely for everyone.
Working as a space scientist is itself a very challenging job. So, what challenges the team faced during Chandrayaan-3?
Yes, the challenges were, we had a surprise in Chandrayaan-2. We had to prove that yes, what we have understood is correct and it will come as per the sequence. So, lot of effort was put in, so many tests were done, nothing was left to the chance. Wherever we knew this might lead to some surprise, it was attended to its core. So, with all this, we were very confident, but always there will be some anxiety, like space can always throw you some surprises. But
so, it's an evolution, Dr Darkesha, because 2008 Chandrayaan-1, then 11 years later 2019 Chandrayaan-2, and then in 2023 Chandrayaan-3. So, should we understand this as an evolution?
Oh yes, definitely. We have been putting satellites around the earth. See, ऐसे बोला जाता है कि हम जिस whatever we have, we should live with that, and then tomorrow we should live better.
Yes.
Then why don't we try
human aspiration?
Definitely. So that is how Chandrayaan-1 was planned, and then it discovered the presence of hydroxyl molecule, OH minus. Then the attention of the whole world started towards the moon.
That's a very interesting point, because go back to 1969, Neil Armstrong, the first man to step on moon, Apollo missions of America, and then for decades hardly anybody talked about moon.
Yes, it was a race to establish the technological supremacy. Then Americans did that. Then it was understood, okay, it's a barren land, wahan kuch bhi nahi hai, nothing interesting. It was taking a lot of money also. But then when Chandrayaan-1 discovered this, then everybody started going. Now moon is becoming a destination for our next say colony.
Really?
Yes, yes.
We can have DD morning show on moon one day.
Maybe one day, yes.
We are still having a show on moon.
But what were the outcomes of Chandrayaan-3? Because we were absolutely excited when the Vikram lander landed, the Pragyan rover came out. What happened after that?
Yes, it had three objectives: to land safely on the moon, to rove on the moon, and then do in situ, sthaniya experiments.
Okay.
So Vikram lander had three instruments. Chaste, it drilled a hole of about 10 centimeters. It measured the temperature gradient.
And that's the Pragyan rover coming down.
Wow. Yes. So that Pragyan rover had two instruments. Alpha particle leke, wo zameen pe it striked, and then X-rays came out. These X-rays are belonging to, they are characteristic to elements. Then in other instrument, laser was made to hit the surface. It made the plasma. Plasma color tells us which elements are there.
Okay.
So this is how we understood that, okay, oxygen carbon, aluminum is there, and surprisingly sulfur presence is found.
Okay.
So this is something new that has been found. Yeah.
So how do you choose landing point in every mission?
Essentially, we need a largely safe and plain area. पहाड़ में तो उतर नहीं सकते. So the moon has been thoroughly observed. The best camera revolving around the moon today is Chandrayaan 2's OHRC. That belongs to India. So we have detailed mapping. Then we choose, okay, this is where we want to go. If not this, where else? Can this be there? Can this be there? So a large area of about, say, kilometer by kilometer where we can land. So this is how generally.
So, but Dr. Darkesha, one of the pioneering thing ISRO did was that we landed on the south pole of the moon, and India was the first country to do so. What's the advantage of landing on south pole?
Yeah, near the south pole, it is said that there are some crevices, कंदर जो होते हैं, जहाँ पर सूरज का बिजली कभी भी नहीं आया, यानी they are permanently shadowed regions. If water is there, it is most likely that it must be there as ice. So can we explore that? And obviously, see, in science, for a student of science, we always do something that others have not been able to do. That is how we came from caveman.
So did Chandrayaan 3 figure out ice then?
It has figured hydrogen there, I mean oxygen there, and hydrogen has to be found in the same place. Had Pragyan rover continued for some more days, possibly we would have tried. See, presence of hydrogen and oxygen in the same place.
Yeah, gives you water, and then we can have life, then we can have show on moon. But
amazing.
But to continue this, and it's interesting that you've got so much credentials, but you still say I'm a student of science. So can we then expect after 1, 2, 3, Chandrayaan 4?
Yes, it is on the cards. Chandrayaan 4 plans to bring stone, sand from moon for us to study here. Yes, that's on the cards.
From every success and failure, we learn something. So from this mission, what ISRO has learned, what ISRO is up to now?
Yes, we have learned that yes, we are on the right track. We have understood, we know what we are doing. Going further, Gaganyaan is an ambitious national project where 1 or 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 human astronauts will be taken to 450 kilometers orbit. They stay there and then safely they will be brought back. Beyond that is Bharatiya Antariksha Station between 2028 and 33. So we will be establishing the station where people can go conduct experiments. 2040, an Indian should land on the moon and return safely. So these are exciting days to come.
Let's understand each of them. So we've got 3 big things. One is Gaganyaan, the human space flight, then Bharatiya Space Station on the lines of ISS, the International Space Station, and then of course a person on moon by 2040. Gaganyaan, when we are wanting to send humans on the space flight, how soon one can expect that to happen, and how's the training progressing?
Right. So in this entire sequence, like in an aeroplane, takeoff and landing are 2 extremely difficult, challenging aspects. So we have to ensure that our takeoff will be safe and our return will be extremely safe. So there are experiments that are going on. What if suppose on the launch pad something happens, the pad abort test is successfully conducted, then when the launch vehicle gains a velocity close to that of the sound, that is the time when it will experience hardest vibrations and shock. So in that time, crew escape system, suppose launch vehicle kuch ho gaya, crew escape system will pull away this crew and it will take away some 3-4 kilometers away from the direction of the launch vehicle. Then now the return, we have 8 parachutes. There is a sequence of opening. What if one of them will not open? What if sequence is changed? So all these tests are being done. As we go through, hopefully by next year end we might have.
You know, we've seen some of these visuals in movies like Gravity, Interstellar, and of course Mangalyaan and rocketry. But help us understand. We were trying to understand the rocket. Once the rocket goes up, when do you say that it has crossed Earth's atmosphere and entered space? And then how does the satellite get detached? And the re-entry part looks very interesting.
That's right. Yeah, that's a really interesting thing. Suppose you sit in a rocket and you start going. At around 10 kilometers, you will see aeroplanes flying next to you. At around 15 kilometers, you will see the Sonde weather balloons.
Clouds.
Sonde balloons, the weather studying balloons, they go in the helium balloon. Then between 15 and 35 kilometers ozone layer, 50 to 60 kilometers we can see the meteors burning into a dazzling light. If you cross 80 or 100 kilometers, so there is nothing.
Okay.
Kuch bhi nahi. That nothing is space. Space is nothing but nothing. So this is the thing.
Okay.
So we can say there is a target to take the satellite to a destined orbit, 450 kilometers, 600 kilometers, something. So it will impart that velocity to keep it running around the Earth or any other celestial body. So that's where we say yes, we have put our launch vehicle has successfully accomplished its mission.
Okay, so you use helium balloons to check the weather.
Yes, this is done by our sister concern, meteorology department. They do it. So they go high altitude and then they get burst into the atmosphere.
Oh, amazing.
Some of them can be recovered, but that's a continuous process.
I have a curiosity. How do you all take care of your mental health? It is must.
Thanks for asking this. Possibly the teamwork. So that keeps us maintaining our health. Say APJ Abdul Kalam ji, जब वो ISRO में काम करते थे, he gave one say आदर्श. No member of the team, including the team leader, is greater than the team.
Wow.
So even today that is being followed. You will be wondering, like Chairman ISRO, he comes to ISRO headquarters canteen, will have lunch with us, where even other contract staff, the drivers will have. So that sets us, okay, we are part of the team.
Nice.
Second thing, individual level, we try to give our best, knowing that failure might strike any time.
But in space, there's no failure.
Space is very unforgiving. Yeah, I mean, in a sense, failure.
It's always learning.
It's always a learning, but we want to. It's always good feeling that we reached Mars in the first go.
Yes.
We don't. We have always 4 times we have attempted crossing the Earth.
Yes.
All 4 times we have been successful.
Okay.
So we don't want to break this saga.
Yeah. So you're saying for mental health, it's very essential to be balanced.
Yes.
No matter what the outcome.
True. And possibly list out all comprehensively where all it can fail and plug each possible hole.
Right.
So that we know, despite that failures might happen, that is okay. But I am giving my best.
Yes.
So that keeps us okay.
And you mentioned the canteen. I had the privilege of having meals there. I remember being at the tracking center in Bengaluru, and few kilometers further up is the headquarters of ISRO from where you've come. And then, Dr. Darkesha, we hear about Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh, from where rockets are launched, and other centers. So how does ISRO works?
Oh, nice. ISRO, like any other space agency, would like to place the satellites in the space and then make the best use.
Okay.
To take the satellites into the space, we need rockets. Rockets are essentially designed at Thiruvananthapuram Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. They are realized part by part at various centers and various places. They come to Sriharikota. All Indian satellites get assembled at UR Rao Satellite Center, Bengaluru. The satellite comes to Sriharikota. The work of our colleagues at Sriharikota is that they build this rocket. Some parts are made there also. Satellite is assembled, they launch. During the launch and once it is stationed, ISTRAC along with its other centers will keep a track. If it is a geostationary satellite, master control facility will take care. The communication satellite directly deals with us. The remote sensing satellite data comes to NRSC Hyderabad, from where it gets disseminated to district administrations, other departments and ministries. So
truly a team effort.
Surely, and it's a quite tough job.
Well organized, I should say.
So to young scientists, what what message you want to give?
Okay, being a possibly a senior student of science, what best they can do is possibly list out all the opportunities that they have, prioritize what they want to do, and then make a calendar of which year, which month they are expected to get an application, what they want to do. So their mind keeps them telling that, okay, be ready to apply here, then prepare well, look for all the opportunities. Don't think, okay, I'll become this, I'll become only this. Not the case. So you try everywhere.
But somebody wants to join the space sector. Is it necessary they have a science background, or a student could be from commerce or arts background, they can still be part of ISRO?
Yeah, it's a good question, Amitji. Earlier it was reserved mainly for science, that too few disciplines.
Yes.
Now we need lawyers, we need accountants for all these activities to come.
So you can also work for Space Center.
Excellent. We've got some young minds, and they also have a lot of questions. Let's hear some young minds as to what is their query for Dr. Darkesha.
मेरा इसरो से ये सवाल है कि ब्लैक होल बना कैसे और ये है क्या?
Okay, black hole. Say any star in its lifetime can enter into this stream or this stream depending on Chandrasekhar limit. That's what is the limit set by Indian born. So black hole is that phase of a star wherein it is very massive, so much so massive that even light doesn't pass through. It absorbs, the light being light in weight also, so it can capture. That's why we call it as black hole. So we are yet to understand, but there are say black hole pairs and things like that. So
one related question: when we see space, and we are also having visuals here, why is it dark? Does sun rays reach space?
Yes, sun rays or star rays, they keep traveling, but unless you have something to stop, we will not be able to see in.
And there are hardly any objects there.
Yes, that's the emptiness.
Okay.
Because you are seeing me because light falling on me is reflected towards you. So I need to be situated in space so that you can see.
So now we'll have one more answer from you because we've got one more question from a young student.
हमारा इसरो से क्वेश्चन ये है कि एक स्टार और एक प्लैनेट के बीच में क्या अंतर होता है?
Okay, star is it's a source of energy by itself. Planet जो है like Earth, it can receive and it can say reflect the thing. So when they were formed, possibly the stars were formed first. As we know, sun got formed around 500 crores of years back. The planets little later, 460 crores of years back. So in this evolution, we find stars being energy givers, planets are consuming and making.
And there are millions of stars.
There are billions of stars.
Billions.
Yes, billions stars. They form galaxies. There are billions of galaxies also.
And there could, we are sitting here, there could be life on some other planet?
Yes, possible. The scientific answer is possible, which means statisticians who calculate on paper, they say Milky Way like galaxy, Sun like star, Earth like planet. If we consider, life should be existing at least 50,000 places.
Really?
So we are yet to find another place.
Our brothers and sisters
I'm
could
amazed.
well be there.
As we have seen in some sci-fi movies, right, ki there is a life on another planet. So you are telling this is right. It could be. It could be.
It could be. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, Voyager sent signals in 1977, thinking that it will go one day, land somewhere, and then they will come back to us. They must be in Shilayug, Stone Age.
Right. And therefore, there's so much to be done in the world of space, and the young minds, if you are innovative, this is one field you can associate with. Let's have one more question. Hello?
मेरा इसरो से ये सवाल है कि स्पेस में वैक्यूम क्यों है?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. In fact, विश्व में वैक्यूम ही ज़्यादा है.
अच्छा.
स्पेस में हम है.
अच्छा.
Space is something that exists beyond Earth's atmosphere. So पृथ्वी के वायुमंडल के बाहर जो भी है वो स्पेस है. विश्व के बहुत एक भाग स्पेस ही है. स्पेस में सूरज है, स्पेस में अर्थ है, स्पेस में हम है. So vacuum is there because the universe is constituted like that.
Okay.
So we are special parts.
So the youngsters today, Dr. Darkesha, also want to look at startups. And when we say startup, we think the startups can happen in education, health. Can startups happen, or they're already happening in space? What's the potential there?
Oh, really? There are about 200 space startups within India. So grown very fast recent years. Anybody who wishes to do a startup, so what we would say is there is upstream and downstream. in space technology. Upstream is taking the satellites and downstream is making their best use. Now, if we concentrate the downstream, which constitutes more than 80% of the market. So, there are numerous opportunities for anybody to implement this, how best you can use it.
So, opportunities what? In rocket, satellite, applications, where?
They are already there in hardware. How best you can, suppose there is a village, you want to give Wi-Fi connectivity. So, from satellite, establish one Wi-Fi center, then give to everybody. Village is typically smaller one, right? So, then say assessment, damage assessment, pre-post images आप लेके दे सकते हैं, reforestation, all this is possible.
No, but then tell me, Dr. Darkesha, the data that comes from the satellites we already launched, is that something that entrepreneurs and public at large can use?
Yes, yes, because say the resolution, how closely I can see two objects separate is the resolution. So, up to 5 meters it is publicly available, free. Better than 5 meters, it is also available on request. So, one can write to say NRC center, then they can get it, and some of them are priced like nominal amount is considered, but all these data is yes, it is made publicly available.
And you mentioned the Bharat space station. What would that mean when it happens?
That would be something like our International Space Station. It will have compartments like crew module, pressurized module. The best thing is we can do our experiments in space station. Suppose there is a sprout, then I want to ensure that by irradiation its efficiency is increased. Why do you think other countries will help me in testing my sprouts?
Right.
No, I will do that. So, we have wide say range of land and culture, we can make the best use.
And to conclude, let us also talk about your own journey. Tell us more how you got associated with ISRO and an example of that 5-watt amplifier that helped in Chandrayaan mission.
Right. Between my MSc first year and second year, I got an opportunity to study in PRL as a summer training program. Then came the comet Hayakutake. I was asked to find out whether it is a one-time visitor or a repeater. So, I traced the position, it became an ellipse with an eccentricity of 0.67. Then I went to my guide and told this is what I think I have found. Then he suggested you seem to have a fair flair for science, why don't you consider like this? Then I started looking at opportunities. I applied for several opportunities. ISRO, I gave the first interview. Then I am here. I am thankful for that.
Thank you for the interview. And I think the next time we have the interview, one, it could happen in space. Second, we can have a second guest in addition to you who could be from another planet. And you never know what can happen.
And we'll be wearing that costume that astronauts wear.
Space is about possibilities. Keep that curiosity alive. And like you said, let us be the student of science. Thank you so much for joining us, and greetings once again on the first National Space Day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it. Thank you.